So, to represent the 6 key milestones of the modern human diet, I have created a clay shadow box. And all of these figures represent the transition to the modern diet that we consume today. So, we start here at the steak. So, this represents the original hunter-gatherer human diet. Food was nutrient dense, seasonal, and minimally processed. So, this means that meats were hunted, and whatever produce was found was sourced locally in a hunter-gatherer style. But then we progress to the first key milestone of the human diet, which was the agricultural revolution. So this occurred somewhere between 10,000 and 12,000 years ago, and it was marked by an increase in farming and developed settlement, which is represented here by the corn, which would be a farmed item. The implication for humans included decreased nutrient variety, increased bone loss, and increased disease spread. So next, we go to the introduction of refined sugar, represented here by a donut and sugar cubes. While sugar was a novelty as early as the 1600s, today, the average person consumes about 150 to 200 pounds of sugar annually. So the introduction of refined sugar meant that sugar transitioned from a rarity to something of a staple in the human diet. And many of the health problems that people suffer with today can be linked to a diet that's high in refined sugar. Next, we have the Industrial Revolution, marked by the wrench. And in this period, people began moving to cities, often far away from farms. This meant that their food was purchased instead of grown by themselves for the first time. So food needed to have a longer shelf life to be transported to and sold in cities. And the processes of food preservation increased dramatically during this period. In addition, machines also began to replace physical labor, which meant less physical activity for humans. Lastly, the use of chemicals and pollutants from factories also increased. Next, represented by our cola bottle, was the rise of big food in the late 1800s to early 1900s. Nestle Food Company was one of the first of these companies. It began in 1866, and other well-known companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper all came to be in the 1880s. Additionally, Kellogg's and Post companies began in sanatoriums during this period. These companies all developed into the names that now dominate the food industry. They used hyper-palatable combinations of salt, sugar, and fat, along with clever marketing strategies to create foods that were attractive to people. However, these processed foods are extremely low in nutrients despite providing an excess of calories. Next, around World War II, the chemical revolution arose. There was an increased demand for long-lasting rations for soldiers, and additionally, foods like meat and butter were preferably saved for fighting soldiers, so civilians were encouraged to eat newly developed processed foods like margarine. In this period, new chemicals that were originally developed for war also started to be utilized as fertilizers and pesticides as well. And now this takes us to the last milestone of the human diet, the digital revolution, represented by our familiar Instagram icon. This period is still shaping the modern diet that we consume today. It is marked by the rapid spread of information via new technology like the internet and social media. Food advertisements and new methods of brand marketing have a major influence on consumers' purchasing and eating habits. And in addition, humans engage in far less physical activity and less outdoor time than ever. Long sedentary periods cause poor posture and poor digestion, and blue light causes poor sleep. So there you have it. There is the entire history of the human diet represented through the 6 key milestones. Thanks for watching.